So I know on Instagram you can't see the title, but I'm talking about, as a lot of y'all know, I live nomadic, and this is my 10th year. So it was 2012, decided to start living overseas, and yeah, now it's been 10 years. I did not expect it to be that long, but absolutely loving it. So, talking about, living overseas, I see some people that decide to move overseas and they are either rich when they start to move overseas, but a lot of people who have a plan of making money once they move overseas. And you have folks that end up making it and surviving and just barely getting by. And then you have other people that are, really thriving and living well. And that was one of my main things. Like, okay, I'm not trying to go to some other country and just get by. I'm trying to live really, really well. And I know plenty of people that have moved overseas, wanted to stay, have not been able to stay because of financial reasons. So I want to talk about, like, what does that look like? What does that look like to be able to live, to permanently, either permanently travel or permanently live overseas? And I'll start by saying that, when it comes to making money, the U.S. is literally the best place on earth. Like, there's just a lot to be said for capitalism and an embracing of capitalism. And there are even other countries where they have a lot of the uh, um, luxuries that I guess you might say that the Americans have. But you look at in Australia where it's just not celebrated. Like, entrepreneurism isn't celebrated, and being successful. They have the whole tall poppy thing where it's like, hey, they don't think anybody should feel like they're any higher than anybody else. And it's not about feeling. It's like, once you reach a certain level of success, they feel like you really shouldn't have it. Unfortunately, the US is headed in that direction, which is unfortunate. But I want to talk about the difference that I see. I see some people who are basically, they may have a internet-based business that allows them to live overseas, and you have other people now, even more, that have a remote job and they're able to live overseas. And there are two issues that kind of get in the way of complete freedom. If you're in the job scenario, the biggest issue becomes time zone. So you're limited by time zone. And if, I actually see one of my Nomad homies that popped in, Charles. So, there's some folks that have amazing, amazing job. I won't call out what his username is, but he's got an absolute ridiculous situation because he is a software developer. So when you have certain sets, you're able to leverage that skill set into, like, like, this is the deal. I'm not gonna be here. I'm gonna live overseas, and you can basically create the situation that you want. So you can leverage that skill set. So even I hope my nephew, who I was just talking to with about the game, which was nuts, is watching. But it's one of the reasons that I'm big on him having certain skill sets. Like, I don't care about degrees, like all that stuff. Like, if that were stock, it would be way below where the stock market is right now. That stock is like plummeting. So the value of degrees is really low, but the value of skills and real skill sets, especially with history of those skill sets, is really, really high. So if you're in that scenario, that becomes something that you can leverage. The people that I see that get hit the hardest are the people that either have started a little business and it seems to be going well, or they buy a little internet business and it seems to be going well. If it's in that kind of realm where it's e-commerce, it may be a advertising driven site, it could be drop shipping, it could be even some SaaS. The danger there is that you want to get at the beginning of a huge trend. And unfortunately, unless you're in that kind of, what they call a rising sea raises all ships, it becomes a situation where you're competing with all the other folks for the same amount of money. And there's just a lot of really great competitors out there. What's up? See, we got a shout out to the Ace Hole. At some point, I got to share that story. So when I get that, people are like, what? What's the Ace Hole? So what's up, man? It's good to see you. Thanks for popping in. I want to, let me see. Let me go back up here. I see Melissa in here. And I got a lot. I got some of you folks. All right, I'm gonna get to the comments, but I will give some of you guys a shout out. John, Brandon, uh, Hung Lee, popping in. What's up, homie? So what I found is there are a lot of people that they get overseas and they've got a little internet business that's making some money, but they just haven't really planned out, okay, what is this business going to look like in a year, 2 years, 3 years? The internet changes very, very quickly, and unfortunately right now the multiples are so high that it's extremely risky to buy those deals and have that amount of capital tied up and something happening year two and you paid a 4 multiple. That's like absolutely ridiculous. So the key becomes, what is that in between? Now, the people that I seen that have done really well, one are the folks that aren't just working overseas, that are employees that have that remote work situation, but they have that work remote situation, but they're in a very highly skilled categories. So it becomes very hard to replace those people, and that becomes your negotiation leverage. When it comes to some of the other situations where you don't have that, I have been with folks and have friends who end up being told, listen, we need you to come to the US. It's like the work remote thing is over. And it's like, wait a minute, what? Like, I have a home, I have like all this stuff. And it's like, nah, like if you can't be back by this date, we're going to have to let you go. And that's a very dangerous thing. So the people that do really well is if you do have that highly skilled situation and you can make really great money and live in a low cost country, like that's a beautiful thing. Obviously, the goal is to have a business and have complete control. And so, what I've seen in the people that have done really well aren't the e-commerce and drop shipping, those types of business. It's more service-based businesses. I have several friends that have amazing agencies that just do really well. And for some reason, like those businesses just have a little bit more longevity. A lot of people don't like them because it can be a little bit more involved. However, we're doing a deal in Pepe right now on an agency where the owner, 6-figure agency, and he's spending 2 hours a week in it. But that business model just has a lot more longevity. The other one that I've seen outside of service businesses is sales. So I actually not only have some friends who are individuals that are either doing cold calling, there's some cool things happening. I won't even tell you, there's just some amazing returns that are in certain industries where they're able to just generate massive amounts of money with a small amount of time. And that's probably one of the other keys. The last thing you want to do is be traveling around, experiencing other countries, but have to do it after 12-hour shifts. The last thing you want to be doing is having to spend 10, 12, 15 hours in a business. It's funny because we were looking at a couple different deals and we're on due diligence calls with one deal, and the owners in that business are spending literally 15 hours. Well, I'm sorry, he was spending 15 hours, and he was excited that this year he's only spending 12 hours a day working. Who cares where you're living if you're completely exhausted after you get done working? The other case, though, is, we're looking at a deal where it's more of an agency and they're spending 2 hours. So you want to be careful with the type of business that you get into. But when it comes to doing sales, there's these unique opportunities that you can get into. One that I will mention, there's one that's a little bit of secret. There's one that is pretty well known. It's like solar companies, with the amount that the government's given in subsidies and what companies are willing to pay out in order to get those jobs. There's just this really cool opportunity, and I actually have a couple of different friends that are taking advantage of that kind of arbitrage in a couple of different ways, where you can hire people in a country and build a team and manage that team, and they're doing some of that heavy lifting. You find the English speakers, and the commission are just so massive. And one other industry I'll mention that kind of opportunity is freight, where you build a company and you're kind of managing that outsourced team. But I'm not as big a fan of trying to manage an outsourced team of, again, that low skilled labor. I'm talking highly skilled, highly valuable. In order to be sales, you're not somebody that is kind of speaking broken English. Especially if it's B2B sales. So those are just some of the things that I think at a high level. And so it brought me to this because I was talking to somebody about that last live that I did, where we talked about what the opportunity that exists to be able to be a nomad and be a business broker, which has been something that I've done on the side for the last 20 years. And this became really apparent as a cool side hustle because I've got one of my brokers who's 22-year-old amazing guy, but very young, and getting into space. And in the month of January, he generated 21. What's today? I don't know if he's going to close the other one, but it could end up being 30,000. But he's already gotten 21,000 off of the 2 deals that he's gotten done this month. And it just made me realize that there is, when I look at that business, there's like this huge opportunity that exists to act as an intermediary. So in the last video, I was talking about it from the perspective of, when you're looking at the gold rush, you want to be the person that's selling the picks and axes. Levi jeans was a result of the gold rush. There are some people that got rich off of looking for gold and actually finding it, but that was very, very far and few between. The people that really built long-term generational wealth were the people that built businesses and sold and helped the people who were coming and trying to take advantage of the gold rush. And so right now, when you look at this small business buy and sell space, there is a bit of a gold rush. And not in the sense that it's just like a bunch of people coming to this thing, but there are a couple of things that are creating this situation, where a 22-year-old can come in and generate $21,000 in the first month of the year. So what is that? What's created that opportunity? Well, one thing is, we've all heard about this massive, multi-trillion-dollar amount of wealth that's being transferred by the baby boomers who are beginning to sell their businesses. And, they just want to retire. Their kids don't want the business. They help their kids get, jobs because that was the right thing to do, get a great degree and get a job. And a lot of them are lawyers and doctors and that kind of thing. And so the business owner doesn't have, kids to pass the business down to, because he really kind of pushed his kids out of the business because that was kind of the cool thing to do, was get your kid to become, for boomers, that was their goal. They wanted their kids to become an attorney. I was supposed to be an attorney. I was literally studying to become an attorney before God literally saved me. Oh man, I think about what my life would have been if I continued on the path that I was on, which was a dream. And but that was their dream. So now they have these businesses that they need to exit. So that's creating the supply. Now, when you look at the broker side of things, there are 2 things that have happened. One is in 2008, we saw a complete drying of all type of lending. And buying and selling businesses doesn't work without lending. It just, oh, by the way, thank you for the reminder. Like the video, guys. I'm here. It's Sunday. I do have dinner here in a minute, but I'm sharing with you guys. Just watched an amazing football game, and got a little bit of wine. But I'm here, sharing some stuff. So hit the like button. Thanks for the comments. I will try. Let's see how much time I got. We'll try to get to as many of those. It'll be really fast. So talk about this 5 minutes, then we'll get into some of your questions for 5 or 7. But what happened in 2008 is all lending, residential, commercial, real estate, all business, everything dried up. And there was just no lending. So a lot of the business brokers, literally 1/3 of all of the business brokers that existed, left the industry between 2008 and 2012. So just wasn't a lot of business for them to do. And so that created that vacuum. In addition, you had another third that after 2012 were baby boomers themselves. So just like the baby boomers who are selling their business because they're getting ready to retire, you have these other baby boomers who, at the end of the day, they're business brokers. They want to retire too, and so that's taken out close to another third. And you're talking about a industry where even before that, there are about a little bit over 1 million businesses a year that sell, and there were only 6,000, and some people left to the point that the association that existed because of them paying dues of business brokers got so small that a lot of the things that they did to track what was going on in the industry, those reports haven't been done. So you've got a situation where it went down that small because of dynamics in the marketplace and the age of the practitioners. There aren't young business brokers. I was the only kind of 20-year-old, when I was doing stuff starting off like 23, 24, once I realized like, oh, okay, I can buy a business. There was just nobody ever told me about that opportunity to be a business broker. And so for the folks that are in the industry now, and I look at somebody who, like I said, is generating that amount of money, brand new in the space. I've been in it for a while, so it's not as impressive for me for me to be able to do that as my side hustle and generate that kind of income. What's impressive is when a 22-year-old can enter the industry and start doing 20 grand a month. So that was the dynamic on the kind of demand side. Was you have all these people who want to sell business. Now you have the demand on the buyer side, and maybe you can consider the supply to be all of the baby boomers who need to sell their business. You have fewer people that are able to offer the service, and then you have more people than ever that want to own a profitable business. And so those dynamics together, what created this whole situation. I'm doing a call. I know Nori sent an email out to a few of you who were interested and had reached out to Andrew. We're doing a call on just this whole process of becoming a business broker on Tuesday. If you're interested in that, hit Andrew at financierbank.com for the Instagram folks, and we'll get your invite. I'm only doing it with 12 people because I want it to be a conversation. As y'all know here, like I like to kind of open things up and actually talk. We don't get to talk voice wise. And so just so I'm able to kind of legitimately open up the line, answer questions and all that, we're limited it to 12 folks. And I think we may have 6 or 7. So if you're interested in that, please do reach out. 100% free. Talk about it. I'll talk about the opportunity to become a broker with me because we have a ton of demand, and how we can train you on how to become a broker. All right, let's get to some of these questions because I'm gonna be late for my dinner. John, what is up? Says, how's it going, Ace? I am terrific, sir. Louise over on LinkedIn. Louise, man, when I was in Atlanta, we started literally my very first fund. Louise was working with me. It was a lot of fun, start from scratch. He popped in, said, drop in diamonds. I appreciate it. Brandon G, what's up, homie? Thanks for popping in. John says, now that we're on topic of being nomad, how do you manage your offline deals while living overseas? This is a great question. I'm guessing you have managers in place, but isn't there a need for you to still be present? No. So if you have the right type of business, and I just did this on our Dealmaker Institute call, I literally just talked about this subject because that becomes a filter. I'm filtering the deal based on like that business I talked about where the guy's managing it remotely and he's spending 2 hours a week. Now I want to come in and do more, but I'm not going to buy a business that I need to be there. And now with technology, the short answer is you want to run the offline business like it's a internet business. And there's a lot of ways to do that. Too much to go into, but definitely bring that back up because I have a lot of obviously I've been doing it for a long time. And if there were a lot of growing pains 10 years ago, I can assure you figuring out how to manage offline was so difficult. And it wasn't for a while because I could still do internet deals. And now the internet deals are so ridiculous with the multiples that we're now only doing offline deals, but we're running them as if they are internet. We're closing 6 units of a business in Florida. Hopefully, we just got the LOI, hopefully later in the month. The Hung Lee, thanks for popping in, homie. He says, hi, Ace, exactly. I left Perth, Australia 10 years ago. Awesome, man. To do business in the US mainly because of the tall poppy syndrome in Australia. Yes, it's a real thing. I think, just the impact of having a bunch of people that are like happy for your success, pushing for your success is a really big deal. Brendan says, Ace, how has living outside the US and the pandemic affected how you do business and acquisition? Well, it's affected more my personal travel than anything. I mean, I realized, just like I was literally used to traveling. I mean, it was one of the weirdest things. I was talking to my mom about this, but like when I wasn't able to travel during COVID, it was the first time like I got depressed. Like I literally just went through depression, and it was like, man, what is wrong with me? Like, am I seriously, and it wasn't like some dire thing. It was just like, just general sadness. And so I remember the first trip that I was able to take, and after, or kind of as things were starting to open up a bit, and just everything was so like I just enjoyed packing for it. I remember like getting to the airport, and like literally when I walked into the airport, it was just like I just felt amazing. It was like this euphoric feeling of just euphoric. I think basically I'm addicted to traveling, and so it affected my personal happiness in life more than it did my business. I'm trying to think. I mean, like I have a hotel deal that didn't do well during that period. It's now just freaking people are going nuts traveling, so it's doing super. So yeah, but off the top of my head, nothing big. Feel free to ask that question again when I have more time, and I'll think, because I'm sure there are other ways that it impacted. Sam says, can't wait to set up my PE fund this year. Yes, sir. Let's get it done. Thanks for popping in. Man, it has. It has. 25 Property says, hello, Ace. Long time, my man. It has been way too long. Thanks for popping in. Hunley says, let's see what time. Selling tools to high growth markets. Levi's Goro Strategy has certainly been paramount for me to live anywhere in the world and work anywhere. Yeah, I think it makes the difference. Eddie says Ace would be the most charismatic lawyer of all time. After Johnny, there's nobody better than Johnny Cochran, but I'll take it. I'll take it after him. You're talking IBBA. I will not be calling out anybody specifically negatively on here, but you can look around and see how many associations there are. All right. I definitely have to go. I hate because there's some really great questions. Let's see. Says it's quick. Let's see if this is quick. Ace, quick question. If a person is interested in purchasing a business off of Empire Flippers, do you offer a paid consultation for someone looking to make a purchase from their platform? So yeah, so I basically have a company that will. So let it just go to dealmakersinstitute.com, let them know what you're looking for, and we can help you out with that. All right. All right. Let's see. Came from IG. So to get on call with the 12 people, we have to message the gentleman, Andrew. Well, actually followed up. Actually just saw the email. No worries. Perfect. All right. Everybody have a great one. Sorry I didn't get to your question. I appreciate y'all popping in. Feel free to come back. I'll have some more time. There's just a quick one in between the Bengals game and a dinner. Have a great one. Thank y'all on Instagram as well.